Well, it seems we have lost Ibn Mabunda there. He is at the Harare International Airport, as it was known erstwhile, and now the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport. And he's pretty much giving us a rundown. He's seeing who has come through, and according to what conversation I had earlier on with him, he has already seen the arrival of the South African President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa. He's also seen the arrival of the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Felix Antoine Tshisekedi. They have already arrived. And from what I also gather, the President of Mozambique, Felipe Nyusi, arriving earlier even ahead of those delegations to join in and go through what, of course, as I said, is going to be an historic second term for the current president-elect, who by close of day today shall be the official Republican president of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Now, the recitation of the presidential oath of office, of course, is it's a ceremony that is mandated by the Republic of Zimbabwe, and we've gone through this through our constitution. And of course, it is not, however, a constitutional requirement, but it carries a lot of symbolism. It carries a lot of weight, because this is a promise, a solemn promise that is taken by the person, the office bearer, somebody who will have been given the mandate to run an office, an esteemed office, for and on behalf of an eager and expectant country, an eager and expectant demographic of people. And we have to hear him say he promises to uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Zimbabwe, because that is sacrosanct. That speaks to us as a people and as a nation. And whoever we put in our office as a people has to promise to uphold that Constitution, because that Constitution, as it were, is us. It signifies us. It enshrines the dreams, hopes, and aspirations of the people of our nation within these great frontiers that we call Zimbabwe, from, of course, the north in the Zambezi right down to the south, the Limpopo. Now, the oath of office, sometimes known as the affirmation, depends on what somebody's convictions are. Some people would want to take an oath, but others would feel that clashes with their personal beliefs. And sometimes these are religious beliefs. And of course, as you know, we've got religious freedoms enshrined in our Constitution. So somebody may say, I will not want to swear or take an oath. I want to take an affirmation to affirm to the people that this is what I will do, and I will do it diligently, and I will protect the interests of the nation for that I serve. And of course, at the end of it all, they say, so help me God. And now before we go to so help me God, it really, I'll give you a bit of trivia about how this is run. You've got somebody who raises their right hand, and the right hand, of course, is a sign or insignia of truth, of honesty, of putting yourself out there. And then the left hand, which is close to the heart, is then placed traditionally on a Bible. Now, when you place your left hand, which is closest to your heart, you are linking to something that is sacrosanct, something that is sacred, and as sacred, of course, as the Bible. And of course, as I said, we are a nation that respects the religious freedoms of people. So sometimes people may decide to put their hand on a religious book to which they pledge their allegiance, their religious allegiance. And you will remember, we've got, of course, in just the recent past, members who joined the judiciary, a member of the judiciary, who decided to take that oath or affirmation of office with their hand on the Quran, as opposed, of course, to the Bible. Now, by convention, these incoming presidents would raise their right hand and place the left on the Bible, taking this oath of office. And a little bit of trivia about that, the history of that, and it's actually not a history that is too enshrined in religion. Now, in 1789, George Washington, the president then of the United States, took that oath of office at an altar, and he had a Bible that was borrowed from the St. John's Lodge. And I'm talking here about the Freemasons. And he kissed the Bible after he took that oath. So subsequent presidents in their democracy have decided to do that and follow that right, as it were. And of course, a lot of other democracies all over the world have decided to take the same, and we are no exception, because we are, of course, predominantly a Christian country. But as I said, we are also a country that allows people their religious freedoms. In the history of these oaths and affirmations, we've also seen them hold on to the words that are spoken, and you shall hear those words being spoken today, that oath and affirmation being spoken, and it has to be said and repeated just as the Chief Justice speaks them, and they have not to be altered, because it has to be the absolute promise by convention, the promise that we'll be getting from the office bearer that's coming through, and we shall also be understanding why this happens. So now you understand why the Bible has come through. It was just because there were Masons back in the United States who decided that they wanted to affirm on the Bible, and then it just became one of the rituals. So we are also going to be seeing the Chief Justice of the Republic of Zimbabwe administering that oath of office. Afterwards, there's quite a lot of entertainment that's going to happen. We're going to be seeing live performances there being headlined by none other than Jar Praiser Mukuze Mkombe. He's going to be headlining the entertainment at that stadium, at the National Sports Stadium in Harare. Of course, we are also going to be watching a football match that's going to be coming through, and that's going to be the Brave Warriors of Namibia. They're going to be facing our own Warriors. And Sunday, Mofu Chidzambwa is going to be leading our troops out to battle. And this is really a battle, because Brave Warriors and the Warriors, and it's Warriors one against the other. Of course, we're getting various images there coming through from the National Sports Stadium, where we've got quite a number of people coming together from various communities. We've even got members of the diplomatic corps coming through. We've got, of course, as I said, those heads of state and representatives of important international bodies, most notably at the moment Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, coming through, and Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Chilombo of the Democratic Republic of Congo, also in attendance. Felipe Nyusi from Mozambique, the president of Mozambique, also coming through. We've got delegations coming in from Cuba to also be a part of the proceedings today. So we had President Ramaphosa coming through, as I said, and we're just going to be getting those images, that confirmation, as you can see, of President Ramaphosa coming through with the South African Air Force plane there at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport, being met by senior members of Zimbabwe's diplomatic community. We've got the Foreign Affairs obviously leading this arm of the inauguration. And there we are seeing the Foreign Affairs Minister, Frederick Shava, Finance Minister Mthuli Ncube, They are there at hand to welcome from our back garden, as it were, our closest neighbors, our greatest trading partners, there on the red carpet at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport. And on that split screen, as you see, members of the media eagerly awaiting those proceedings to start at the National Sports Stadium, whilst to the right of your screen there, you're seeing President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa's arrival. Of course, they are also pretty busy in their neck of the woods, currently expecting to have elections down in South Africa next year. So it's pretty busy electoral season in our neck of the woods in Southern Africa. This part of the forest having a bit of chirping with regards plebiscites. Of course, President Ramaphosa, having already given his word that his government shall work hand in glove, as always, with the government of the Republic of Zimbabwe to ensure that whatever we need as neighbors shall be rendered one to the other in order to realize the dreams, hopes and aspirations of our two sister countries. Because for time immemorial, even before the dawn of independence and freedom for our two countries, the bond that unites Zimbabweans and South Africans existed. Of course, you can see the beautiful vantage point there gotten for us by our team on the ground to ensure that we get nothing but the best coverage for you. And our man Mnyarazi Chamalimba there making sure we get those crisp pictures coming in to confirm that the South African President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa has touched down on that South African Air Force jet that you see over yonder. And he, of course, headed after presumably freshening up to the National Sports Stadium for this historic day that beckons ahead of us. Now, as I was saying, these affirmations that are going to be given at that stadium where you're seeing those current images coming from, well, this affirmation has a clause that enjoins any new president to swear or affirm to the best of their ability to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Zimbabwe. And of course, by convention, there's use of that Bible, as I said. And so we are there at the National Sports Stadium where we're currently awaiting the arrival of the dignitaries, quite a number of them coming through, quite a number of them expected. And we've got our teams there on the ground. Nyasha Chawatama, Tawanda Bote, and of course, Commander Andy Hodges. He's moved from the command center where he could not sleep or slumber. And today he's elsewhere, just pretty close though to where that command center, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission command center was, moving now from what then was the Sheraton Hotel in Harare, now the Rainbow Towers Hotel, and now he's at the National Sports Stadium. There, of course, in the same neck of the woods, if you were, bordered by Westley, Warren Park, and of course Belvedere in the capital, Harare. Andy Hodges is also going to be giving us updates from the National Sports Stadium with regards how dignitaries have come through, how the crowds have come through, and if you can see there from something of a horizon just above the flag there, the flag of the Republic, you will see that the numbers are swelling. People want to be part of this historic event, to witness it and to see what shall be the commencement of yet another 5 years in office for the incumbent and the current president-elect Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, who shall, by end of day, as I have intimated, become the substantive head of state and government, and of course commander-in-chief of our Zimbabwe Defense Forces, as that glorious flag flies up high on yonder. Speaking of the flag, of course, bit of trivia, that flag was created after a committee was put together. Now, the committee to create the national flag of the Republic of Zimbabwe was put together by the then First Secretary of ZANU-PF, Robert Mugabe. And on that committee, he put Frederick Shava, the current Foreign Affairs Minister, who we saw there earlier on at the international airport, and he was, of course, welcoming Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa. So this team was put together. Frederick Shava was part of that team, but also part of that team was the late Catholic priest, and I think we've been talking a lot about Father Ribeiro. So Father Ribeiro was part of that team, and they were tasked to come up with a flag that speaks to the dreams, hopes, and aspirations of the Zimbabweans. And that flag that they eventually came up with is what lies behind me. As you can see, that beautiful red, gold, and green, and black and white flag. And they spoke deeply about why they came up with that. And of course, in school, you're always given the very basics of what that flag means. But they will also tell you that, for example, that chevron, that V that you see there, also speaks to fertility, because it represents a young girl who is fertile and ready to give birth. And it symbolizes the fact that this country was supposed to give birth to more and more young men and women after having lost a sizable number of gallant sons and daughters in the war. And they were saying, we're bringing this cup, and it is a grail in fact. So it was a grail that spoke to the fertility of the country. So that is one of the things that flag was speaking to. So we've also gotten word that from our brothers in Malawi, President Lazarus Chakwera has been unable, of course, to come down. And as I said, there's some people who are sending delegates, and they're sending representatives to make sure that their countries are well represented at this inauguration. And of course, President Lazarus Chakwera is one of those who have decided to send through their representatives, and we are well informed that those representatives, of course, have arrived. Of course, President Filipe Nyusi, as I said, has already arrived. He's the neighbor to our east, Mozambique. And we've got a very strong relationship as a people with the people of Mozambique. As you may remember, during our struggle, Frelimo, the Front for the Liberation of Mozambique, ensured that our fighters in the Liberation War back then were harbored in Mozambique. And we had the leadership of people like the late former President Samora Moises Machel, who was, of course, a member of the frontline states and ensured that we were also catered for as we fought for liberation. And it is absolutely no surprise that they are a part of us here today. And even when they had their civil disturbances, we had a lot of our sisters and brothers coming through into Zimbabwe, and we had our military going across into Mozambique to ensure that stability was restored. And that's back in the 80s, in the mid 1980s. And that is a relationship that has really survived and has grown stronger in leaps and bounds, as it were. So Felipe Nyusa there coming through pretty early, because of course he's just a hop away, as has been the case with President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, also arriving from our part of the neighborhood. And in the past they used to convene because they were fighting for a cause and within their respective political parties and liberation movements. And now they're coming through to see the continuation of democratic processes in Zimbabwe and indeed certainly in the region. So we'll be going back to the National Sports Stadium any minute now, because it seems quite a lot is happening there, and we shall of course be hearing the various national anthems. But most importantly, today, the most important national anthem in our neck of the woods is of course ours, the national anthem we know as Blessed Be the Land of Zimbabwe. Ngaikomborero nyika ya Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. And of course, that particular song, written by the late Solomon Chairo, he wrote the lyrics, and the music to that was done by Dr. Fred Changundega, a musician of great repute. Fred Changundega is still alive, and I actually would implore you to look for him, celebrate him, because the person who actually wrote the sound, that music to the national anthem, is alive, and we hardly ever talk about him. And those are living legends, living heroes that we need to celebrate in our day, in our lifetime, and indeed in their lifetime. And also at the National Sports Stadium there, pleasant news, we haven't seen her for quite a while, but of course we have the former First Lady, Grace Ntombizodwa Mugabe. She is in attendance with her son, Tino Robert Mugabe Jr., and they are also part of these festivities to just be a part of this history and see this second term in action. So you will be getting, and of course, as I said, we've got eagle-eyed people there at the National Sports Stadium and strewn all over at the various places that we send people. So you shall, as and when we get them, you shall be seeing these visuals of former First Lady Grace Ntombizodwa Mugabe, who, of course, a lot of you haven't seen for quite a while. She's just been taking, a bit of a breather after the retirement of her husband and former president, the late Robert Gabriel Mugabe. She's in attendance with the eldest of her two sons, Robert Tino Mugabe. Robert Jr., that is. So a number of people there assembled at the National Sports Stadium, and we shall be getting a lot of insight there from our man, Andy Hodges. He's there. He's going to be conducting a series of interviews as we go by. And this is a ceremony that is actually rather short if you look at the core of it, but there's a lot of pomp and fanfare, and that's what makes it pretty long, and that's what makes it pretty exciting, as it were. And of course, for those who are at the National Sports Stadium, they're going to be enjoying a football match, as I alluded to earlier on. And if you're just joining us, where were you? We are here at Zim Papers, ZTN Prime. We are at the headquarters, as it were, of broadcasting in Zimbabwe. Yes, we have taken over that mantle as the head of broadcasting here in Zimbabwe, because this is where you get it all. This is where you get all the visuals, and you see everything history in motion, divinity in motion, history in the making. We also managed to get earlier on some visuals of the president of the Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo, of course, Felix Tshisekedi Chilombe. He arrived, and when we do get those visuals coming through, we will probably give you a bit of a snippet so that you see that we certainly have on our fingertips, as it were, we have everything that you want and a little bit more. This is ZTN Prime, and this is Inauguration 2023.
It's back to school and we're going shopping. Yay! Now, where do I start?
Okay, my happy place.
With over 100 years of experience, you have made Doves the funeral assurance service provider of choice. We provide you with a range of funeral service solutions tailor-made to your needs and income for you to give your loved ones a dignified send-off. Take a Doves policy today and cover your family. Visit the Doves website or contact Doves via social media today to know about the affordable policies and services we offer that suit you. We are here to serve you and will always be for the ones you love.
shopping. Yay! Now, word I start.
Okay, my happy place.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, my name is Robin Kondiwa, and this is Inauguration 2023, where we are live at various places. We're live here at the Broadcasting Centre at ZTN Prime. We're also live at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport, where we've got a bird's eye view looking out for who is arriving for Inauguration Day 2023. And of course, it goes without saying that we're also at the National Sports Stadium, where that inauguration process and ceremony is going to happen. And of course, if you're joining us, welcome. And we're seeing a hive of activity as well here on social media. And I would like to thank you all you guys for joining us here and for your contributions. Lynette Nguluve, thank you so much for joining us. Wellington Dube, Ropa May, we've got a number of people. Kudzi Astro here, and of course, Gora Machoronga and Brian Fungai Chirosri. Thank you so much for joining us, and we shall be giving you the best of the best with regards to the coverage, and you shall be having a front row seat. A number of people came through earlier on. We showed you Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, the President of South Africa, coming through, and right now there is Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Chilombo of the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC. But of course, if you go there, it's the RDC, République Démocratique du Congo. And of course, elsewhere on the other hand, there we're seeing the main podium at the National Sports Stadium. That's the main podium in that split screen. So Presidents Ramaphosa and Tshisekedi arriving, of course, Felipe Nyusi arriving much earlier before those two. And that is confirmation there for you that our neighbors to the south and east have landed in our neck of the woods. Of course, we are waiting for the culmination of this event, which of course shall be the taking of the oath of office, that recitation, and of course that is going to be done before the Chief Justice. It usually is the Chief Justice. Of course, legally it's not cast in stone that these sort of ceremonies are definitely to be done before the Chief Justice, but that, of course, in our neck of the woods is that the requirement. But in various jurisdictions, things are, of course, a bit different. So we shall be seeing that recitation, but only after we see our dignitaries there. As you see, that man I said was part of creation of the national flag, and he's there donning the colors of that national flag. That's Frederick Shava, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He was one of the people who were tasked to put together our national flag. As there we see the national flag of the Republic of Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, being waved there, and presumably those are, of course, members of the Congolese community here, either diplomatic or living in the Republic of Zimbabwe. And as I said, this is a neighborhood, this is a community. So all across Zimbabwe, you will come across people from South Africa, Mozambique, Namibia, Malawi, and of course, the Democratic Republic of Congo, all living in our country because we share a common history. We share a very important history, and this is history of protracted fights against our erstwhile colonizers in order to get the all-important word in our bag, the word called sovereignty. We fought for a sovereign Zimbabwe, and of course these democratic processes that we see in motion today. Of course, amongst the dignitaries, as I said earlier on, we've got former First Lady Grace Ntombizotwa Mugabe with her daughter as well, Bona Mugabe, and her son, the eldest of her two sons, with the former president, and that is Robert Jr. himself. We've also got even members of the clergy, the popular Pentecostal leader, religious leader, Walter Magaya is also in attendance there as well. So we've got quite a number of people coming through to witness this particular inauguration process, which of course we shall be giving you live and direct, thanks to our teams on the ground, teams at the international airport. And very soon, of course, we shall be going back to Ibn Mabunda. He's going to be giving us a quick rundown of what's happening there at the airport. Whilst on standby there at the National Sports Stadium, we've got our Commander Andy Hodges. He's also going to be giving us up-to-the-minute information of what's happening there, who's arrived, and looking, perhaps peering into that tent at the diplomatic community to see who amongst the diplomats has come through. And as I said, as you've probably noticed yourself, there is quite a multitude of people there that are in attendance, and certainly there is a great amount of interest on the ground at the National Sports Stadium. Great amount of interest from you as well, from what we are seeing here on our social media handles. And you can just give us a bit of information on where you're watching from across the country, because we know you're watching from various spots. Are you at work, or have you decided to take the day off? Where are you? Are you in Lupane? Or are you in Harare? Are you in Glen Nora, for example? Are you Kwafatso, having a drink and enjoying a laid-back day? Are you in Lopane? Are you in Gwanda, Kwachif? Are you having a drink, Kwachif? Are you in Mashonaland Central? Are you in Mashonaland East or West? Wherever you are, we are covering this event live for you within the frontiers of our country, and certainly beyond, to give you an insight and first-hand pictures of what is happening at this inauguration that we are witnessing today, as we, of course, are getting images there from the National Sports Stadium. That is tent number 1. That is the main podium, as we see members, esteemed members of international diplomacy and leadership coming together to witness this event. And of course, as you can see there in the horizon, the National Sports Stadium, dare I say, packed to the rafters, as Zimbabweans from all walks of life have come together, converged to witness this third swearing in ceremony for Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, and the second for a full term, for a full 5-year term. If you remember distinctly, he had to take the mantle, as it were, and finish off the mandate that had been handed to their party, ZANU-PF, in 2013, after the resignation in 2017 of Robert Gabriel Mugabe. And he took the oath of office, Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, that is, to complete that term before going on to win his own term in 2018, for which he served 5 years. And of course, last week, here we were on Zim Papers television network, on ZTN Prime, and we were following events around the country, as of course we saw elections unfold all over. And after that protracted battle, that democratic battle, of course, ZANU-PF emerging, being declared and emerging victorious, as both clinching especially the National Assembly, but prized asset there being the presidency. And of course, that always culminates into this particular ceremony that we're witnessing today. This is Inauguration 2023, and we've got a number of people coming through from various parts of our continent, and of course, even far-flung areas. We do hear that there are going to be delegations coming east and west, including, of course, our great counterparts, the Cubans, who have sent a contingent here. We've got members from the presidency sent down from the presidency of Dr. Lazarus Chakwera in Malawi. Of course, that's another country with which we share a very strong bond. You do remember that in the past, in the days of colony, at one time we were lumped together as one country, Northern Rhodesia, Southern Rhodesia in Nyasaland, and that being Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Malawi in the present day world of diplomacy. And of course, there are those images coming there through from the National Sports Stadium. And as you would know, with all those people packed to the rafters in that place, there's always going to be that technical glitch, but we're all making sure that we get none of that and that it does not impair our view and our information that we are getting from there. And certainly we hope we will have an absolutely seamless morning and afternoon as we give you those main proceedings. And it is well and fine for technology to act the fool right now, but fingers crossed that technology will not let us down when it comes down to the nitty-gritties, to the most important bits of this, to make sure that we hear that oath of office, because we have to have our elected official promising before God and man, before God and us, that he will uphold the tenets of our constitution going forward, of course. But as you can see, we have these connectivity problems that we have. Bit of dodgy pictures coming through, but we are working on it. Our technicians working diligently to make sure that cometh the moment, cometh the hour, we shall be having the most perfect view for you. And we always get the best vantage point to make sure that you are a part of proceedings, wherever it is, whether it's elections, whether it's high-profile funerals, or whether it is ceremonies of pomp and fanfare like the one that for which we are gathered in front of our screens or on our gadgets today to witness. ZTN Prime always makes sure that you get prime and pride of place whenever these events unfold. Of course, this is ZTN Prime, and this is Inauguration 2023.
Of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and I, Her Excellency First Lady Amai Auxilia Mnangagwa, President Vashika, President Vashika.
Now, the images may be dodgy, but of course, we are seeing there that the president-elect has arrived. The president-elect coming and standing firm, as it were, ahead of the crowd, flanked by his spouse, the First Lady, Auxilia Mnangagwa, and very soon we shall be hearing the national anthem of the Republic of Zimbabwe.
request Your Excellency to take your seats for a few minutes as we await the arrival of your colleagues who you will receive as they come to take their seats. VP Chiwenga has been receiving all our dignitaries from outside the country, and he is the last man coming in, and Mrs. Chiwenga, because he was receiving all our dignitaries. Tinovatambira vachipinda. The President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emerson Amai Auxilia Mnangagwa, Honorable Vice President.
There we've only got the audio coming through, and as soon as we fix the video feed, we'll be going back to the National Sports Stadium. But of course, if you had a keen eye and eagle eye like our eagle-eyed camera people, you would have seen that just in the horizon behind President-elect Emerson Mnangagwa, there is the former president of Zambia, who also is in attendance, Edgar Chagwa Lungu. He is in attendance today in Harare at the National Sports Stadium to witness this second full-term inauguration for President-elect Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa. And of course, as we said, we always have to be battling with the magic and not so magic, that is technology. But certainly, as soon as we restore the picture there, we shall be going back to the National Sports Stadium. And we may be at least perhaps fortunate, because soon we'll also be getting an update from the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport of all the things that transpired leading up to the event at the National Sports Stadium. And of course, as you heard, when Foreign Affairs was taking these dignitaries in to Zimbabwe from the various planes, as it were, they were then being handed over into the hands of the Vice President. And that, of course, is Dr. Constantino Gouveia Dominic Chiwenga, and which explains, of course, why he was the last man on the boat, on the ship, as it were, because he had to make sure that all the guests came in one by one or two by two into that giant ark that is the National Sports Stadium to witness what shall be quite a journey as we go towards the inauguration of the current president-elect Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa. And so we've had Foreign Affairs handing over all our guests, all our dignitaries, of course, into the hands of Constantino Gouveia Dominic Chiwenga, the Vice President. And he, of course, has done a sterling job, because all the guests that we're expecting are in. Of course, Tshisekedi coming through from the Democratic Republic of Congo. That's President Felix Tshisekedi coming from the DRC. And we've got President Filipe Nyusi coming in from Mozambique. We've got Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa coming and joining us from South Africa. And as we hinted before, we also have a delegation sent in from the presidency of Dr. Lazarus Chakwera of Malawi. to make sure that they are part and parcel of these festivities. And we shall also, of course, be getting a deeper and more intimate update from Eben Mabunda, who's going to be giving us a roundup of who came through and the other delegations that have been sent by their respective countries to come through. And as I said, we've got quite a bit of everything happening, something borrowed, something blue, something old, something new, and we've got outgoing, we've got something old. The former president, of course, of Zambia, Edgar Changa Lungu, signaling those who have gone to become statesmen. Also in the past horizon, we've got former Deputy President Pelekezela Mpogo. He's also in attendance. And if you're only joining us now, I mentioned this, but former First Lady Grace Ntombizodwa Mugabe is in attendance with her two children, Bona Mugabe and, of course, Robert Tino Mugabe Jr. And they are in attendance, and they've come through. We've got people from the clergy, and if you are one of those who attend Pentecostal churches, you will not be unfamiliar with the name Walter Magaya. He, of course, is in attendance. So people from across the spectrum deciding to take the opportunity to be seen today and participate in person in what shall be, of course, an historic moment. It's time just getting past 11:15, which means we're really getting into the important bits of what's happening at the National Sports Stadium. It's unfortunate that we're still battling with the visuals there, but anytime now, our technicians should be able to rectify that. But in the meantime, perhaps we can start by showing you the visuals of when these dignitaries came through. First of all, we saw the President of the Republic of South Africa. We saw him coming through on the National Air Force jet, and that is President Cyril Ramaphosa. We had visuals and images of him coming through, and of course pretty soon we're going to be showing you those. If you missed out on the first time we showed those visuals of President Ramaphosa coming through, we had our people on the ground, Mnyarazi Chamalimba there, making sure we get those visuals, and pretty soon you shall be getting those visuals that we recorded earlier. My name is Robin Kondiwa, and this is Election 2023.
It's back to school and we're going shopping. Yay! Now, where do I start?
Okay, my happy place.
With over 100 years of experience, you have made Doves the funeral assurance service provider of choice. We provide you with a range of funeral service solutions tailor-made to your needs and income for you to give your loved ones a dignified send-off. Take a Doves policy today and cover your family. Visit the Doves website or contact Doves via social media today to know about the affordable policies and services we offer that suit you. We are here to serve you and will always be for the ones you love.
Okay, my happy place.
Is election 2023, the inauguration. We've got visuals there coming from the National Sports Stadium, so we'll just try and listen in a little bit and cross our fingers that we will keep that beautiful visual and the beautiful sound.
Position for the signing ceremony. Pururudzai. Justice Chief Malava kunotora nzvimbo yavo. He is taking his position in order to administer the oath of president. Saka vari kuinda izvozvi. And as he is going there, we also want to welcome the President of the Republic of Mozambique, His Excellency Felipe Jacinto Nyusi. Let's welcome him. As we welcome him, we are also preparing for the signing ceremony, which will take place
Of course, they're getting the word that I was giving through that, of course, President Nyusi also in attendance. That's the president of Mozambique, as we continue this ding-dong battle between this Studio 1 at Herald House and, of course, the outside broadcast at the National Sports Stadium. We shall be going up and down like a yo-yo, because as soon as we get something beautiful and something that is succinct there with regards the broadcast quality, we shall be going over there. But when it comes to the babysitting of the story, I am here and I am on call. And of course, thank you so much for joining us from all over the world. We see Melody Gwenyambira. Thank you for joining us. Gora Machoronga, Kudzi, Astro here. We're getting your information and your queries and of course your comments loud and and clear, as it were. And of course, we've got Kevin, Sean, Bran, Musavangane Chiyambiro also coming through. And while this is the culmination of what was a battle amongst patriots and compatriots, because that is the very nature of elections. They are combative in nature, because that it is what it is. Anything that needs eventually to have a particular winner taking the mantle, as it were, means that there's going to be a battle of ideologies, battle of philosophies, and a battle of various thoughts. But what we should never battle is, while we may have been on different sides, we are one nation. And of course, as you're seeing there, we're struggling to get that those visuals, but that's the signing ceremony that we're preparing for, and the oath of office.
I now
read with subsection 1 of section 159 of the Constitution, a general election for the purposes of electing a president must be held so that the polling takes not more than 30 days before the expiry of the 5-year period, which runs from the date on which the president-elect is sworn in and assumes office of the president. And whereas a general election was held on 23 and 24 of August 2023, and And whereas, in terms of subsection 3, paragraph F of section 110 of the Electoral Act, the chairperson of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission declared Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa as the duly elected president of the Republic of Zimbabwe on the 26th of August 2023. And whereas, in terms of subsection 1 of section 94 of the Constitution, a person elected president assumes office when he or she takes before the Chief Justice or the next most senior judge available the oath of president in the form set out in the third schedule. Now, therefore, I, Luke Malaba, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Zimbabwe, do hereby call upon you, Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, to take the oath of President of the Republic of Zimbabwe.
I, Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, swear that as President of Zimbabwe, I will be faithful to Zimbabwe and
and at just that moment when nothing ought to have gone wrong, then we lost the audio. But key words there, that affirmation, that swearing that he shall be faithful to the Constitution of the Republic of Zimbabwe, that is, of course, an oath he has to take according to the statutes that were read before him by the Chief Justice of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and that would be Luke Malaba, Chief Justice Luke Malaba there, imploring the President-elect to come on board, come before him, come before God and man, and take his oath of office.
I will devote myself to the well-being of Zimbabwe and its people. So help me God.
Thank you. There is a signing ceremony which you must witness as the President signs in front of the Chief Justice.
So there you have it. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa has ceased to be the President-elect of Zimbabwe. He now is the President of the Republic, and all that is left is for him to put pen to paper and push ink on paper, signing and acknowledging receipt of another 5 years in office. And of course, we had an interview earlier a couple of weeks ago, if not just a little over a week ago, where we had an exclusive with our commander, Andy Hodges. He spoke to the then president and the presidential candidate, and that is, of course, President Emmerson Mnangagwa. And they spoke on a wide variety and wide range of issues, including where he categorically said he really wanted this term because these 5 years are his last 5 years in office, as he wants to wrap up the developmental strategies that he had for the country. Now let's go back to the National Sports Stadium and hear the tail end of what is going on. But all I can tell you is, from what I'm hearing, it's just a lot of noise and pomp and fanfare, and the donning of the sash will be coming very soon. Hopefully we shall be getting images of that sash, and as you know, it's the large green sash with at the periphery, at the hem, it's got the colors, the rest of the colors of Zimbabwe. It's green, but it's got the red and the black, and of course it is symbolic of our presidency, of holding power in our nationhood.
Vapfekedzwa nyembe dzokutonga, vapfekedzwa
Of course, as that camera was moving left, right and center, showing you the delirium, really, people in a frenzy, of course, marking the tail end of that particular signing ceremony. And that signing ceremony following the recitation of that oath of office. And that will tell you that Zimbabwe has, in effect, a president, and a substantive one, as it were, while we're at it. And of course, that man would be the new president for the next 5 years, and that is President Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. And of course, those who were very keen on how that is bestowed, we had a step-by-step being given to us by none other than the Chief Justice of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Chief Justice Luke Malaba. There is so much more set to happen, and there is so much more set to be said. And of course, there at the National Sports Stadium, if you're in the surrounds, and if you are lucky to squeeze in, because as you can see, it is already packed to the rafters. If you're in the neighborhood, you may be lucky to get a seat and watch the brave warriors of Namibia. They are in the country, and they're going to be facing their rivals in football, and that, of course, is the warriors of Zimbabwe. The Warriors, of course, as you know, have no substantive coach, and we have gone and picked upon none other than Sunday Chidzambwe. Formerly Sunday Mofu Marimo, but now Sunday Mofu Chidzambwe. He is leading our troops, our charges, and we will see in the Battle of the Warriors who is the warrior par excellence here in Southern Africa. Of course, a lot is happening. There have been surprise guests who we probably didn't expect would be in the country. Most notably, we've got Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the former president of the Republic of Zimbabwe. And of course, we also have the former First Lady, Grace Ntombizodwa Mugabe, with her two children, Bona Mugabe and Robert. Of course, they were named after their grandfather and father, respectively. And with regards the world of the clergy, we have, of course, Prophet Walter Magaya of the PhD Ministries. He's in attendance. And also the Ambassador Plenipotentiary. We have Hubert Angel also in attendance as members of the clergy. We've got, of course, other delegations coming through. We've got a delegation from the Republic of Malawi, having been expressly sent by the leader of that country, and that is Lazarus Chakwera. He sent he sent a delegation, and one of his top people to lead that particular delegation coming through. Of course, as I'm multitasking and seeing some of the people who are joining us, Kushinga Chawora, thank you so much for being a part of this, as well as Ropa May, who has been with us ever since, of course, the start of day, and as has Gora Machoronga and Lynette Ngulube. And a number of you, we've got hundreds upon hundreds of you coming through to witness this particular day. Of course, earlier on, we witnessed the arrival of Felix Tshisekedi. Felix Tshisekedi is the Republican president of the Democratic Republic of Congo. We had our man on the ground there at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport, and he managed to get, along with our team, he managed to get images of that particular arrival by the DRC leader, Felix Tshisekedi. And of course, some of you managed to see those visuals. For those who didn't manage to see those visuals, of course, we will be, from time to time, we're going to be giving you these visuals so you see who is in the country. It's not going to end there. We're going to then eventually have a formal reception where these dignitaries are going to be taken through the processes and the ideals of our nation, and perhaps even the aspirations of the incoming president for the next 5 years, because, of course, they represent their countries and would want to know what Zimbabwe has planned, what plans do Zimbabwe and Zimbabweans have. They don't want to leave and say, Zimbabwe in a plan. They want to hear from the horse's mouth and say, what do you have for us going forward? And they will obviously hear that at a luncheon that is going to be hosted, presumably, but most likely, at State House by the now President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Emmerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa. And eventually, at the close of day, in the dying embers of sunset, there shall then be a state banquet for invited guests, of course. And here is where the President is set to then further explore issues around his tenure in the next 5 years. Because, as you may know, the leadership and running of and steering of this ship that is Zimbabwe is not only confined to Zimbabweans. It affects our members of our community or society, most notably SADC, and of course the greater world. And many will be willing and wanting to know what's going on going forward, and is our man willing and able, and what does he have in store for us? Because much as our domestic policy, which informs our, especially our choosing of leadership, is concerned, is important, but so too the policies that speak to the greater world, to our region, and of course the continent at large. And as you know, we're going to be assuming greater leadership roles in SADC going forward. And SADC would want to know what their forthcoming leaders think with regards regional leadership, and certainly with regards the greater world. So this banquet is where some of these things will be expounded on. And it's not going to end there. There are going to be a very interesting happenings going forward. We will be waiting with bated breath because there's a new pool. The pool has got some who are old and some who are new. We've got new names that came to the National Assembly and some to the upper house, the Senate. As you know, we're a bicameral republic, a bicameral democracy after the return of the Senate. And this means that pool, barring perhaps 5, is where this president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, is going to be drawing his cabinet from. So there's always going to be whisperings and murmurings, and people will be wanting to find out in the next coming days, what does this president have in store, and who are his team going into this final lap, this final 5 years. And certainly that's going to be something of interest. Of course, we haven't exhausted what's happening at the National Sports Stadium. So let's try once more and try and connect with what's happening at the National Sports Stadium.
100 years of experience, you have made Doves the funeral assurance service provider of choice. We provide you with a range of funeral service solutions tailor-made to your needs and income for you to give your loved ones a dignified send-off. Take a Doves policy today and cover your family. Visit the Doves website or contact Doves via social media today to know about the affordable policies and services we offer that suit you. We are here to serve you and will always be for the ones you love.
It's back to school and we're going shopping. Yay! Now, word ice time.
Okay, my happy place.
And of course, you keep sending your comments and messages, and they are a delight to read through and see where it is across the country from whence you are watching. Of course, getting information from people in Mashonaland Central telling me where they're watching from. People from Mashonaland West, they're saying they're watching from As You Like It. And of course, Wanda, Kwa Chief, we got the message, and it is really a pleasure to know that from every bit of our country, every square inch, we are managing to reach you and, of course, bring you important up to the minute information in current affairs in your country, because you deserve that crucial front row seat to the governance and politics of your country. Of course, as flag bearers, none better back towards anything or everything than ZTN Prime. We always give you the best of the best with regards to that. Of course, you're witnessing the inauguration, and of course, we have given you the heart and soul of it all, and you saw the Chief Justice there administering that oath of office. But most importantly, there has been a discourse that has been going through. People have been asking who we impact on the most, and of course, especially in local policies that go across the local. And when I'm talking about the local, I'm not talking about Zimbabwe alone. I'm talking about this little patch of the woods where we live, and to show the importance of Zimbabwe in that part of the world. You will see that earlier on we saw President Cyril Ramaphosa arriving. We didn't manage to get images, clearer images of him there at the National Sports Stadium, but we did manage to get images of his arrival earlier on. And so we have those visuals coming through of President Cyril Ramaphosa. President Ramaphosa having already hinted much earlier that he would be coming to Zimbabwe. And because Zimbabwe is very important to various policies, especially towards issues to do with sharing of workforce, of migration, and that is very important to the thrust of policy that his party, the African National Congress, deals with. Of course, you will also know that Zimbabwe has got a special dispensation in South Africa with regards permits to work, and that is something only peculiar to Zimbabwe and Zimbabweans, which shows you that that relationship has remained alive. It is even something that was happening in pre-independence and pre-freedom times. You may have had an uncle, a father, a grandfather, if you're that old, who went kuwenera, ewenela, in the mines, working under the mine, as it were. So we have always been that community. We have always shared blood, because in our veins run the blood of not only Zimbabweans or South Africans. In our veins, we have Southern African blood, brotherly, sisterly blood that flows and unites us as a people and a community. So there, inspecting the guard of honor there, Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa. And let's try and see what's going on at the National Sports Stadium at the moment.
Wayo! Sumuza chaunacho, sumuza. Varia President Manyama. President iti Mnangagwa. Wayo! What's your day? Yes. It is our time to celebrate. Zimbabwe. Waye! We are one up. Here. Sumuza. Oye! Mabako. Hadi John. Ipapo. Yes. Iti hoye! Yes. Yes.
ndamberi ni kudzikama ndakumisa
chino vakutonga kwaro nokuti nguva hapachina mwana mangu. Vari apo paentrance tachikumbira kuti munogara pasi kuitira kuti apo pedu pagosara zvakanaka. Thank you. This is Jah Praiser for you. Jah Praiser one song. Kutonga kwaro, the last song. That's the best song. And our president's favorite song. Kutonga kwaro. Hadi sumukai vanu, hadi sumukai. Hadi sumukai, hadi sumukai. Oye! Iwe! Aiwa!
President vasimuka.
Shefu vasimuka. Shefu! Oye! That's the song. President Manyama, best president. Baba vedu wa Munangaku. Nende, Shuba Shikara. Mwana wa Chivi. Mwana wa Chimungu Mungu. Mwana wa Sre. Victory dance. Apo. Apo Shumba. Apo. My way. Your way. You way. Your way. You way. My way. You way. You way. My way. What's your day? Zimbabwe and Murikoroko. It tense. Iwe. That's it tense for you. Oye! 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 Kush. Oye! Sumuza chaona cha sumuza. 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 Oye! Apo. 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 Varibara bagati garepasi, gari garepasi. This is extremely wonderful. Our president is his favorite song, Kutonga Kwaro. Chef Vashitamba Kudai. Iti. That's the best, the special wave, celebration wave for our president. Jah Praiser, good news. Ahanzi by public demand. Shingoro vachimwe 3 minutes. Tinakutenda Jah Praiser. Urambe wakadaro. Uchimira ne musangano. Uchimira na president iti Mnangagwa. Well done, Jah Praiser. Chingoro vachimwe shokuseri. Shokungoti ngi. Teta se kuna president vanogona kudai. Ndochema here na wa Mnangagwa vanogona kudai. My way! My way! Oye! Oye! Wait! Nasi ndisaduo! Nasi ndisaduo! Munangagwa wangu mai! Vachilai moyo sindo vasutsiwa kuno. Sumuza chauna cha munhu offside. Kabasi munanga. Sumuza. Babangu masomere iwe. Iti uchi. Zimbabwe for 80. Yes. I'm a singer. Ragandi fare amazango. Shumba wakapinda. Shikara.
Hello. Japreza. Hello. Let's stop. Mira Japreza. We ask Chimira Tazizwa. Okay.
Thank you, Japreza. Thank you.
We ask Chief of Protocol to release His Excellency the President to the dais. All of us must now stand for the national anthem as soon as the President reaches the dais. Ati sumukei tose pava kuzoitiwa national anthem kana President vangosvika padais. Everybody remain standing until all the proceedings of the national anthem and that what follows.
Well, you've been busy and you've been keeping me busy as well, as I'm seeing all your messages flooding in. Of course, Tich Dangaiso in South Africa, appreciative of this current feed that we've been giving you. Zibuso Mnandi, thank you so much for the feedback that you've been giving us. Leon Masaka, Proctor Mtlongwa, thank you all to you guys for keeping glued to your television screens and sets. And some of you, of course, even on various social media handles, sharing your screens as they follow proceedings here at the National Sports Stadium, or there at the National Sports Stadium, as it were, since we're here at ZTN Prime broadcasting from headquarters, keeping our eyes and ears there at the National Sports Stadium, making sure we miss nothing. And of course, we even had a bit of time to enjoy the festivities and listen in on Jar Preza as he was entertaining. Some generation would remember something about inaugurations. A very interesting line, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the kingpin with the genuine 100% cinnamon verbal vitamin. Plug it in, put the CD in your system and invite a friend. Inauguration. But this time, this inauguration doesn't have a CD to be plugged in. It's got live coverage, live music there coming to those who are privileged enough and took time off their schedule to be at the National Sports Stadium to ensure that they enjoy the verbal vitamin from the National Sports Stadium, as it were. And of course, we are fortunate to be getting some of this feed via ZTN Prime, because we have been following these proceedings from the absolute get-go. Some of you remember from nomination court and everything that surrounded that, which was, of course, very, very tedious process. And after that, we got into the election proper. We went around the country. Sharon Manjenjema in, of course, in the Midlands province. She is the one who followed the president, as the president was then a candidate, casting a vote there at Sherwood Primary School. We had Mgovechi Gada in Mashonaland East, and he was keeping an eagle eye there. And we had Mnyara Zichamalimba in Manicaland, and we're being given these beautiful, beautiful visuals, and we had a pretty much front row seat to the elections, courtesy of our camera people, like Titch, and of course we even had our own eagle eye, that eagle-eyed fellow giving us visuals. So we've been following this from the get-go. Our sharpshooter was getting us visuals. Today we started at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport, where we were calmly and keenly awaiting the arrival of dignitaries from the region and beyond. And of course, Ibn Mabunda was there and perhaps still is there, making sure he just keeps an eye on what's going on and a finger on the pulse. And back at the National Sports Stadium, we've got Andy Hodges. He's on the ground there. You may remember he gave us absolutely flawless, beautiful coverage from the Harare International Conference Center, which happened to be the command center during election proper. And of course, here from Studio 1 and 2, and courtesy of hard work and energy from our team, we managed to give you other visuals that were out of this world. Let's go back to the National Sports Stadium and hear what it is we can listen in on at the moment.
Lieutenant Gabriel Mushonga Hande and co-pilot Lieutenant Takuzwa Deshe.
Of course, that is an inspection of various arms of our military and uniformed forces there. And that is, of course, one of the rights that are undertaken freshly from the dais, freshly from the assumption of the office of president. Because do not forget that we're talking about the head of state, the the head of government, but also three-pronged, the commander-in-chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces and other aligned uniformed services. And they, of course, have to also pledge allegiance to their country and pledge to be faithful to their new commander-in-chief. And this is pretty much the right that's going through. And of course, I was giving you a rundown of what was election proper. We had our teams on the ground doing what they know best, Gareth Aquila, making sure you had all the best visuals. And we are holding on to that today. Again, something seems to be happening at the National Sports Stadium. Perhaps let's go back there like a yo-yo.
Venom 3, Flight Lieutenant Kapungu, and the co-pilot was Air Lieutenant Munyambiri. Venom 4, Squadron Leader Maroza. The co-pilot was Squadron Leader Nyoni. Mutambo uya wazotsuka ropa. Vasina hana taona vakuda kutiza.
And we're back again, but not like a bad penny, but a good broadcaster that we are. And of course, I keep getting a lot of feedback from you from all over the country and beyond. And one thing that I see, and it's a beautiful issue that's going around right now, is how a lot of people are saying and understanding that, of course, when it's a live broadcast, there is a lot that can go wrong, but nobody is focusing on that. People are saying, keep on keeping on. Thank you for what you're giving us, and continue to try and give us the best that you will. And of course, certainly our teams on the ground have been doing that. And Sylvester Mnyaradzi, thank you so much for the feedback. Tish Dangaiso, and of course, Leon Masaka, you've been coming through, and some have been even saying, we are giving you the chills. It's because we're taking you to where everything is happening. We're taking you to the important places. And that's, thank you, courtesy of you, Mr. Innocent Silwani. Thank you for that feedback. And going back to the inauguration, of course, we have gone through the, perhaps, if you will, the most important bit. And the bit is where we get that affirmation, that proclamation, that oath from the incumbent that he shall faithfully uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Zimbabwe. Of course, as you know, it is a document that is sacrosanct, and it is a document that we hold dear. It is a document that we ushered in through a referendum in the year 2013 as we put paid to the problems that we had with the previous document, which was the Lancaster House Conference Constitution, of course, that ushered in independence. This is a homegrown document, and we're all pledging allegiance to this. So while this is the inauguration of one Emmerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, and he is putting it on oath that he is going to be upholding this these vows with his country via the Constitution, perhaps it is a time for reflection for all of us to renew our vows, as it were, with this beautiful country, with our Constitution, and pledge in our own little ways to work together and accomplish what should be a beautiful, beautiful set of dreams, hopes, aspirations as we go forward. Because do not forget that there were people who actually fought and died for our country. Now, what those gallant soldiers and fighters fought for and won is a tribute to years 5, 10, 15 of hard work, energy, and tireless dedication. And their success was a Zimbabwean dream come true. Of course, we're getting those images coming through yet again from the National Sports Stadium, and praying they will be steady and hoping that the network will pledge an oath to us, the viewers, and also pledge an affirmation and say, I vow to faithfully give you feed. But it seems that our technology is not as patriotic to our cause as we are to our nation. But we shall always continue to work hard and tirelessly to make sure that you keep getting these visuals, because so much more is going to happen. And of course, the culmination right at the end of it all is we will not stop working hard and tirelessly to give you these images until we see the back of the last of our dignitaries as they leave for that luncheon. The luncheon, I said, I presume, is at State House round about lunchtime, little under an hour from now. But until that time, we are ZTN Prime, and we'll always strive to give you these images and make sure you are sitting right in front, as good as sitting right in front of that podium number 1 at the National Sports Stadium, because we bring current affairs right to your doorstep, right in front of your couch. This is election 2023, the inauguration ceremony, and this is ZTN Prime.
The new UD Chronobus is here to help commuters get to destinations in a safe and reliable manner. Created with a purpose to save you time, which ultimately saves you money. Known for its reliability, fuel efficiency, drivability, and uptime, ensuring passengers are safe, we are proud to continuously invest in safe, sustainable, and reliable transportation solutions. Make the connection with the UD Chronobus.
It's back to school and we're going shopping. Yay! Now, word ice time.
Okay, my happy place.
The new UD Chronobus is here to help commuters get to destinations in a safe and reliable manner. Created with a purpose to save you time, which ultimately saves you money. Known for its reliability, fuel efficiency, drivability, and uptime, ensuring passengers are safe, we are proud to continuously invest in safe, sustainable, and reliable transportation solutions. Make the connection with the UD Chronobus.
Of course, one of the key dignitaries that arrived today, this morning, is none other than Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Chilombo, the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, or as they would say there, the République Démocratique du Congo, the RDC. And there, of course, we had our man on the ground. We had Munyarazi Chamalimba and Ibn Mabunda, and they were on the ground to welcome the man that runs that vast country, a very, very rich country, a country that is almost really a gem as much as we are. So we are understood to be mining countries. They've got diamonds. We've got diamonds in Chiadzwa. We know the importance of safeguarding those minerals, and making sure that they are beneficiated for the benefit of our locals, and of course are exported in their best and most valuable of state in order to give a greater return to our countries. That is, of course, Felix Antoine Tshisekedi arriving there, President Chilombo, the Democratic Republic of Congo. And you will find that mining is one of the issues that are at the center of attention by the people as they await to see how we are going to go forward. What is mining going to have for the people of Zimbabwe? What is the president's thrust towards mining going forward in the next 5 years? And these, no doubt, are issues that shall be discussed by heads of state like President Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Chilombo and the now inaugurated President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Quite a bit of fanfare as well as members of the Congolese community, the DRC community in Zimbabwe, welcomed their first citizen. No doubt a great deal of nostalgia there, seeing that their beautiful red, white and blue flag emblazoned on that beautiful, beautiful aircraft. And of course, it would happen to the best of us if we were to leave our countries and see that beautiful flag, our beautiful flag, emblazoned on anything, let alone the first citizen of our countries. Of course, also coming through and discussing certain bilateral engagements and issues would be the President of the Republic of South Africa, with whom we share our southern border. And this, of course, is none other than President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa. He has an election coming through, but he also came through to this inauguration. He is in the National Sports Stadium as we speak. And indeed, he arrived earlier on also on a jet from his country, from the South African Air Force. And he leading the charges. And there's a lot that can be discussed, a lot at stake, because this is our biggest trading partner, and we are one of South Africa's biggest trading partners, if not the biggest on the continent. And certainly there is a lot that needs to continue being built as we grow our relationship or our relationships in various areas and leaps and bounds. And of course, there are a lot of fissures that need to be dealt with, and these fissures will be dealt with as we go, because as the close relations that we are joined together at the seam. And some of these fissures are how traffic is to move seamlessly between our borders in order to hasten the trade on the road trade that, of course, has become a key to our unity and our country's bilateral dealings. Of course, a lot is still happening at the National Sports Stadium there, where we're witnessing the inauguration of he who once was the president-elect of the Republic of Zimbabwe, now officially the president of the Republic, Emmerson Mnangagwa. He has taken his oath of office, his affirmation. He has signed all the necessary documents that needed signing, and he has worn and donned that green, red, white, and yellow sash that we saw him with. That is symbolic of assuming the title of the head of this country and the first citizen. And of course, he has been seen going round to ensure that he meets his troops as the commander-in-chief and seeing the various uniformed security forces. And of course, all this happening under the watchful eye of ZTN. There has been entertainment galore. We're told there's going to be a lot more happening. We've got Sandra Ndebele coming in, and she's also entertaining the masses. We saw Jar Praiser, or at least heard from him previously, just a few minutes ago, and breaking into song. And we even saw the just inaugurated President Emmerson Mnangagwa also taking to the dance floor with his famous dance. And of course, we also heard the eruption into a frenzy of the people who, of course, are there at the National Sports Stadium. We shall be having sport coming also at that stadium because, of course, it's the National Sports Stadium. We're going to be having the Brave Warriors of Namibia. They have made the great trek up northeast to Zimbabwe, and they are going to be facing off with Sunday Chizambwa's team that he's assembled, the Warriors of Zimbabwe. And I am absolutely putting my money on the Warriors of Zimbabwe. Of course, they didn't have and do not have a substantive coach at the moment, but I'm pretty sure after having taken us to that first Africa Cup of Nations, that AFCON, of course, way back in the middle of the turn of this century, Sunday Chizambwa will be ready again to make sure that we conquer. And this time we're conquering one of our own in our neighborhood. We are conquering people who borrowed our name and said, oh, we are the Brave Warriors. And if you're a warrior, of course, we expect you to be brave. And if you then have to qualify the fact that you're a warrior who is brave, we know even you are doubting your prowess. And today, I'm pretty sure the warriors shall show who really are warriors. But of course, there's no bad blood. This is all being played, and this is all unfolding in a sort of air of camaraderie, because it is who we are. If you would remember, of course, we worked as Zimbabwe and as members of the frontline states very closely with SWAPO, which was the liberation movement that brought in freedom in that patch of Southern Africa, of course. And at the head there was none other than Sam Nujoma. And interestingly, the road just to my right, along which Herald House, our headquarters here is based, is also named after that liberation stalwart, Sam Nujoma. And of course, Sam Nujoma is in a retirement in the Republic of Namibia, but of course, active in party politics until, of course, his dying breath, as he says. And that's what he said when we interviewed him some aeons ago. And of course, sitting in the interviewer's chair back then was our general manager, Nomsankala, who had the privilege to speak to Sam Nujoma, a name that will never be forgotten, and a name that is still actively shaping the dreams, hopes, and aspirations of Namibians at the moment. Of course, we also, in our neighborhood, got a team sent to us by Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. Dr. Chakwera sent a delegation. We also saw in the crowd there, just over the shoulder of President Emmerson Mnangagwa, we saw the Edgar Chagwa Lungu, and he is the former Republican president of Zambia. Also here to witness Inauguration 2023. Also amongst those who attended or are attending, as it were, is the former First Lady, Grace Ndobazodwa Mugabe, and her daughter Bona. Bona, if you would remember, was named after her grandmother, and her name means good. And of course, her son, Robert Jr., who, of course, was named after his father, Robert, the late Robert Gabriel Mugabe. Of course, as I always say, the name Robert meaning of bright and shining fame, or intelligent and famous. And of course, we also have members of the clergy there. We managed to spot Prophet Passion Java. He's there as well. We have the Ambassador Plenipotentiary. We have Hubert Angel. He's there as well. We've got Walter Magaya. He's also come through to join the rest of the people there. And some of you were asking whether we have managed to spot Emmanuel Makandiwa. No, we haven't yet. But should he be there, I'm telling you, we've got the most perfect camera people and they will no doubt pick him out should he be there. Because I'm seeing a lot of you asking, is my prophet there? Is my pastor there? Well, we will keep an eye out for everybody and a whole lot more. But if you do see everything else, you will agree that the National Sports Stadium is packed to the rafters today, as many people decided to set aside whatever it is that they were up to and decided, you know what, we're going to go to the National Sports Stadium. We're going to watch the festivities. We're going to watch the signing and affirmation. And of course, they'll definitely wait for the football after all the entertainment is said and done. My name is Robin Kundiwa. This is an ongoing live broadcast of Election 2023, and this is the inauguration.
The new UD Chronobus is here to help commuters get to destinations in a safe and reliable manner. Created with a purpose to save you time, which ultimately saves you money. Known for its reliability, fuel efficiency, drivability, and uptime, ensuring passengers are safe, we are proud to continuously invest in safe, sustainable, and reliable transportation solutions. Make the connection with the UD Chronobus.
It's back to school and we're going shopping. Yay! Now, word ice time.
Okay, my happy place.
The new UD Chronobus is here to help commuters get to destinations in a safe and reliable manner. Created with a purpose to save you time, which ultimately saves you money. Known for its reliability, fuel efficiency, drivability, and uptime, ensuring passengers are safe, we are proud to continuously invest in safe, sustainable, and reliable transportation solutions. Make the connection with the UD Chronobus.
Welcome back to ZTN Prime. My name is Robin Kundiwa, and this, of course, is Election 2023, the inauguration show. If you're just joining us, of course, you've missed out because we had it all. Entertainment galore, we had the vows and oaths, we had the signing, and of course, we had everything that you needed to see the transition from that role of president-elect for Emmerson Mnangagwa to president substantive for the Republic of Zimbabwe. We have enjoyed this beautiful morning, and we've been a part of history from all over the world, in our neighborhood in Southern Africa, and certainly the four corners of the Republic of Zimbabwe. You have joined us. Some of us have not seen our winning candidates, the candidates we preferred to win, but what won was the fact that we are all Zimbabweans. And may we unite under the beautiful red, gold, and green flag going forward in the next 5 years to build our country, to love our country as one. No more programming.
Looking through the mirando, yo kama shoko and I go get them go. And I look into myself, I see more fiamcono, vanity, rovera dobo, vanity, batira toto. And I look into the mirando, yo kama shoko.